Can you make sure it's adjusted? الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. الحمد لله غافر الذنب وقابل التوب شديد العقاب ذي الطول لا إله إلا هو وإليه المصير. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. لك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت ولك الحمد على حمدنا إياك يا رب العالمين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الأحد الفرد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. مالك الملك يؤتي الملك من يشاء وينزع الملك ممن يشاء يعز من يشاء ويذل من يشاء بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. سبح له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. له ملك السماوات والأرض يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. تركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. شرح الله له صدره ووضع عنه وزره وأعلمه أن مع العسر يسرا وأمره أن إذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي المقصرة بتقوى الله وأحذركم ونفسي من عصيانه ومخالفة أمره لزوما لقوله الحق تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وكذلك في قول الحق تبارك وتعالى: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. My brothers and sisters, my dearest children, we are indeed in the month of Rajab, and we are also in the month of January, and the month of January is normally a month that reminds the Muslim community in Canada about a tragic incident that have caused so much pain to us. An incident that nationally was recognized to be an incident of hatred against Muslims, and it is to be remembered every year on the 27th of January as a result of number of Musallin rising to Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty as shuhada while they were in the house of Allah, remember to worshipping in Salat al-Fajr. This incident have caused an alert across Canada about Islamophobia and the importance of paying attention to this disease that is affecting our society, and how we should be as Canadian all concerned about all forms of phobic, and how we should be standing up against any form of hatred, whether it's against Muslims, or it's against Jews, or it's against indigenous people, or it's against any small minorities living in the country. And this also as a call for us as a community to be more concerned and much more effective in our approach on how to deal with this issue. And I know that there has been an initiative to create an app to make it possible and easy for everyone to be able to report such incidents of hatred or Islamophobic actions, so that we will be having enough data to be presented to the different levels of government, and so that the law enforcement agency will be able to see where the need is to focus on certain areas and help Muslims from being able to live a normal life out of the fear that unfortunately many of us is living in. Many of us are living in fear, and more specifically those who are visible, like our sisters who are wearing their hijab and are identified in public as being Muslimat. And for many of us who wear their beards, or many of us who are trying to be recognized as Muslims, we know for a fact that we're subjugated to these looks and sometimes these comments, and sometimes we'll be confronted as well. Unfortunately, the surge of Islamophobia have also been associated or increased since October 7. And this is something we cannot hide, that the number of incidents of hatred, the number of those who have been suspended from their work, the number of those who have lost their work, the number of those who have been intimidated to silence them as a result of speaking up, standing up in public, have increased. But that would not be causing to us nothing but to make us much more stronger in the haqq, knowing that whatever we're faced with is nothing but from the sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal. As the Mighty said to us in the Quran, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ فَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. As we are also living by the end of the month of Rajab, we remember as a community globally the event that Allah Azza wa Jal the Mighty captured to us in the Quran. That is Al-Israء Mi'rage. The journey of the night of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from Al-Masjid Al-Haram to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. As the Mighty said in the Quran, سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. الله أكبر. Allahu Akbar to this beautiful chapter and to this beautiful verse that reminds us about an event in the history of Islam that brings the hope to us regardless of how difficult the circumstances we're living in. Indeed, whether as a community living in this part of the world, living as a minorities in a predominantly non-Muslim society, we're scrutinized and we're being faced and subjugated to Islamophobia. So is to be said to our brothers and sisters in Palestine, whether in Gaza or whether it is in Al-Daffa. They are right now going through a very difficult time. The number of casualties, the number of the injured and killed so far after 4 months of a brutal war that has no sense, no justification, have come close to 100,000. Primarily casualties and shuhada of innocent children, elders, and women. This is all done in front of the international community leadership eyes, with their endorsement and approval. And we say it clearly, the international community is complicit with the killing of innocent civilians in Gaza. You are complicit, and we say it clearly, and regardless of the consequences of saying that in public, because we need to speak the truth. Because we know that the sunnah and the principles of Allah Azza wa Jal in the universe are very clear. That justice, injustice, dhulm, aggression, oppression will not survive and would not survive, regardless of how powerful those who intend to do injustice to those who are helpless and powerless. The example of Fir'aun is very clear to us when he was exercising injustice to the believers of Bani Israel. The example of those who have transgressed against the teachings and the will of the mighty Allah Azza wa Jalla is very clear. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِعَادٍ إِرَمَ ذَاتِ الْعِمَادِ الَّتِي لَمْ يُخْلَقْ مِثْلَهَا فِي الْبِلَادِ. They were so powerful, even more powerful than the most civilized and advanced and superpower of the certain countries nowadays. The Mighty said to us as a reminder, in difficult times, remember that I have taken your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a journey at night, a miraculous journey, لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا, to show him some of our ayat, our signs of reflection. An ayah normally is something out of the ordinary, out of the sunnah, the principles of the universe. وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى قَالَ هِيَ عَصَايَ أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي. What's in your right, Ya Musa? He said, Ya Allah, it's a stick I use to control my sheep. And then at the end he said to him, throw it, and show him a sign, a stick turning to a huge snake. And then at the end Allah Azza said, لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. Ya Musa, we're now showing you, demonstrating for you the power of the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. The stick you have in your hand is turning to a snake, a huge snake, that able to swallow everything that it sees in front of it. You hold it once again, it becomes a snake. You put your arm in your armpit and it becomes the glory. These are all signs, reflections, ayat out of the ordinary. Why? لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. We shall show you, Ya Musa, the signs of my power as a mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Immediately after that, Allah said to him, go to Pharaoh, he transgressed. He have done injustice. He have killed the innocent children of Bani Israel. Speak with him or to him with firmness, with firm belief stemming from the power of the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's exactly what the mighty said to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا, to show him from our signs and the power that we as mighty have. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was transported from Mecca to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa in a very short time. As it is reported to us, this whole journey took place and come back again to his own bed, and his bed was still warm. Not only that, but Allah Azza wa Jal have taken him also from Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the masjid of the Muslim Ummah, the shrine of Islam, the third shrine of Islam that no masjids on earth you're allowed to travel to for the purpose of ibadah except for three: Al-Masjid Al-Haram, and Al-Masjid Al-Nabawi, and Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. to illustrate to the Muslim Ummah and to the whole world until the day of judgment that this is a shrine of Islam. This is a shrine of Islam that was established after Al-Masjid Al-Haram, and the time difference between them is 40 years. لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. Why, Ya Rabbi, you want to show your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam your ayat? لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا. Why? Because the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was given that journey, that miraculous journey, that beautiful victory and fath and nasr from Allah Azza wa Jal. After so much pain and struggle he endured from Quraysh in Mecca. It happened in a year known to us in the history of Islam as Amul Huzn, the sad year, the sorrow year, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that year lost his ultimate support, Khadija radiyallahu anha, who have shared with him her wealth, her energy, her emotions, everything that he needed to be able to deliver the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal in the most difficult stages of da'wah in Mecca. He lost also his own uncle Abu Talib, who was providing for him despite of his non-believing in Allah Azza wa Jal. He was providing for him the support needed to be protected from the aggression of Quraysh. When these two died, Quraysh, the ugly aggression that felt like a superpower, that no one can say no to it, that can dictate whatever it wants in the Security Council, in the council around Mecca, because there was a council around the Kaaba in the leadership of Quraysh, and Quraysh have the power of veto any decisions that does not go along with its own benefit and its own foreign policies. Quraysh felt the arrogance as being the dominant, the most powerful tribe in the Arabian Peninsula. No one dares to come across the caravans of Quraysh because they know if you come across Quraysh, then you have declared war against Quraysh, and Quraysh has the power to lobby all the tribes in the Arabian Peninsula to attack that enemy and to teach him a lesson. Do not even think about it, to stand in front of Quraysh. But that power of Quraysh was destroyed. And Allah Azza wa Jal wants to teach Quraysh that you're not different than any other oppressor or aggressor in the history of humanity. And your defeat will be with those who are slightly armed or powerless. Those whose main power and main weapon is believing in the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jal said in the following ayah, أَلَّا تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. Do not take anyone, any entity beside the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal as a supporter to you. Do not take a superpower that have F-16s, 35s, smart bombs, satellite-guided bombs or rockets. Do not take only as Allah as your wakil. And that's why wakil repeated throughout the surah 5 times. To teach Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that nothing will take you from the weakness, the wahan you're living in, except by saying Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Hasbunallah ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. Meaning to say, enough for Allah the Mighty to be my own wakil. Wakil means supporter who provides support to those who are powerless. Once we get to understand that, then we will be entitled for miracles that will change our conditions, similar to what happened to Musa and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Put your trust in Allah Azza wa Jalla the Mighty. رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه وكيلا. The Lord of the East and the West. لا إله إلا هو. No God except Him. Therefore, take Him as wakil. This is came in Surah Az-Zumar, Al-Muzammil. The surah that speaks about Qiyam al-Layl. يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا. To tell you, your empowerment not in the F-16s and F-35s and the most sophisticated war weapons. Your strength comes from the power that you'll be stemming from Qiyam al-Layl in your connection with the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Your power comes from what the might that Allah Azza wa Jal had given to your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in that journey, which is the 5 daily salawats. And that's why throughout Surah Al-Israء, Allah Azza wa Jal said to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَى أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. Allahu Akbar. This is the secret weapon that Ummah Muhammad has, that we have failed to ignite and use in our life. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا وسيئات اعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. ان الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا ايها الذين امنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. اللهم ان عبيدك ابناء عبيدك ابناء امائك نواصينا يا رب بيدك ماض يا رب فينا حكمك عدل فينا قضاؤك. نسألك اللهم بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك بأن تجعل القرآن العظيم ربيع قلوبنا يا رب. اللهم اجعله جلاء لهمومنا وأحزاننا. اللهم إنا نستغيث بك في شهر رجب. اللهم إنا نستغيث بك في هذا اليوم المبارك يوم الجمعة، ونستغيث بك في هذه الساعة الفضيلة، ونستغيث بك ونحن في بيت من بيوتك. ندعوك يا أحد يا فرد يا صمد يا من لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن لك كفوا أحد، يا مالك الملك. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم يا من وسع كرسيك السماوات والأرض ولا يؤودك حفظهما وأنت العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. اللهم أنت حسبنا وحسيبنا يا جبار. اللهم عليك اتكالنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا من أغثت نبيك إبراهيم حينما قال حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، أغثنا يا مغيث، أغث أهلنا في فلسطين. اللهم إنهم لا حول لهم ولا قوة إلا بك يا جبار. اللهم نسألك بأن ترحم أمة الإسلام. اللهم نسألك بجلالك وكرمك وجودك بأن تكتب لنا الصلاة في المسجد الأقصى آمنين مطمئنين فإنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم نسألك حسن الختام. اللهم اجعله الشهادة في سبيلك فإنك على كل شيء قدير. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وأقم الصلاة.